Oh yeah, I really wanted to join you by the bit of wall you're standing next to. Does it remind you of the zoo your grandmom lives in? I said I didn't really know what I was talking about. Everybody was chanting fight by now, Bunky included, who was jumping around doing boxing moves. Don't talk about my mum, said Darren. He'd walked right up to me and I could smell the frangle on his breath. Your breath is frongly, I said in my future boy sarcastic voice that he uses when he's making Notebird look stupid. Yuck! Barry likes smelling Darren's breath, Stuart Sowick shouted from the crowd, with his orange fish finger eyebrows waggling around. I watched my hands come up shakily in front of me and started to feel quite excited about being in an actual fight when suddenly I heard Donatella's horrible voice screaming behind us. Something terrible has happened, she cried, looking back at the school doors. I saw Mr. Hodgepodge with Sharonella, who was crying, and everyone that had just been chanting fight began running towards them, Darren included. You're lucky. Barry lose a face. He burped over his shoulder, which I suppose I sort of was apart from I just to read myself. I had to waddle home at full waddle speed with my trousers all wet from Francois before anyone noticed after that. So it was only when Bunky came round later that I found out what had happened. There's gonna be a talent contest, he screamed through the letterbox. Before I'd even opened the door. Is that the terrible news? I said, looking through the spy hole to see if he knew. I read myself. No, that was Charnella. She slipped on a banana skin running to sign up for it, said Bunky. First prize is a feature Rat Boy costume. We could win it easily with vending machine. Mum, I still hadn't opened the door yet, by the way. Once he got inside, he started dancing around like me when I'd needed my wee and telling everyone inside about the talent contest. Then the other people inside being me and my dad, who he called Mum by accident, embarrassingly for him. Aren't you excited? He said, his voice bouncing up and down. Yeah, it's here. I'm just annoyed it didn't get to punch Crocodile Face in the nose. I said, but I was lying. I was glad the fight had stopped. I just felt like a massive loser for being myself. You should get him with one of your genius plans, said Bunky, and immediately my child genius came up with the most brilliant and amazing plan ever in the history of the world. The plan was that I'd tell Darren there was a new flavor of Frankel coming out, which there wasn't at all, and he'd get all excited and look like a loser when I told him it was a lie. What do you reckon? I asked later round Granny's house after I told her and Bunky the plan. It's not your best, said Bunky. He was busy watching Chat Boy on Granny's old TV. Blinky's right. Barry, can't you come up with something better than that? Said Granny, but I just ignored them both and watched Future Boy, which was brilliant as usual. The next day at school, the whole playground was full of everyone practicing their rubbish acts for the talent contest, which was a complete waste of time for them all because it was obvious me and Bunky would win with vending machine Mom. Bunky and me found Darren round the back of the sports hall wearing an eye mask and throwing ring possets with some wicks who he'd tied onto a dustbin lid that was nailed to a traffic cone and was being spun round by Ant and Maldo. What's all this uncareless about? I said in my Future Rat Boy voice, but also with a bit of action hero edge because of my non-fight the day before. It's mine, and Darren's act for the talent contest said do it, his voice going round and round. I'm just helping them out. My act's about the history of sandwiches, said Anton. What if? Just thought you'd want to know there's a new Franco flavour coming out, I said. My dad works there, he told me. My dad doesn't work there, by the way. He works in an office, something I can't remember. Darren stopped throwing rainbows at Stuart and took his mask off. What flavour? He said, trying not to sound too excited. Banana, I said, because I just seen Charnella lemming past with her banana accident leg in plaster. Yeah, banana. Said Bunky, waving his arms and legs around to make it sound better. What's going on in here? Shouted Mr. Cube's voice all of a sudden. Rex, get down off that contraption. Darren untied Stuart and he stuck it into the playground like a lamppost that's been bent in half. Terribly sorry, Mr. Coops. We were just practicing our act for the talent contest, said Darren in his best voice. No banana, Darren, no whiskey. Give me a lap of the playground, Mr. Coops shouted, and Darren jogged off, winking at me and doing a little dance like he needed a banana from Kobe. Suddenly, everywhere I went, Darren was not calling me a loser or throwing rainbows at me. Like on my walk to school, he suddenly appeared behind me, all snuffly and panting, because he'd had to run to catch up. Any news on Banana Franco? Said, drinking his morning Franco. I could just imagine his crocodile nose drooping to the floor with disappointment when I told him there was no such thing. I've written an email to Franco head office asking if they could send me a sample, but I haven't heard back yet. He burped, being careful that it didn't go in my ear. I almost felt sorry for him, except I could remember what a horrible little fat belly he'd been to me all those times. This was the person that had told everyone I had grandparents and ruined my vending machine. Mum showed with his poo breath and sung Barry Lewis is a loser to the tune of Happy Birthday. We chatted about the talent contest for the rest of the walk and how Stuart Subex had been feeling really dizzy recently for some reason. Darren thought it might be his fish finger eyebrows making his eyes not know which way round they were, and I said maybe he'd end up like Mr. Hodgepodge and all cross-eyed, and he laughed. The vending machine mum practicing coming along, said Darren at lunchtime the next day. He'd squished himself next to me, which I didn't mind because Auntie Maltu had been eating a sandwich in my ear while taking to his invisible friend opposite, which was really annoying. We know it off by heart already, I said, looking over at Bunky, who was picking his nose and eating it for pudding. Yeah, we're just playing it cool, said Bunky. He smiled, and you could see a bit of boggy squidgy stuck in his tooth. You two are so great in it. You'll definitely win, said Darren. Have you heard anything else about Banana Funkle? Put it this way, I said. Don't eat too many bananas the day of the talent contest. What do you mean? Asked Darren, looking confused. Well, you wouldn't want to ruin your appetite for what? Yeah, for what for? Monkey joined in. Banana Funkle, I said. Oh, I get you, said Darren, and he did a wink, but I don't think he did get me, especially as there's no such thing as Banana Funkle. Instead of practicing vending machine mum, me and Bunky had our best week of annoying Mrs. Trumpet Face ever. On Tuesday, we spotted her in the supermarket on our way home from school and hid in the aisle behind the washing powder she was looking at when she picked up a box. Bunky's face was behind it, and she jumped and dropped it, and the powder went all over her, kids.